Let's hit Bernard. What's the current state of electric vehicle adoption? Is it a big pain to set up and pay for setting up your own or HOA covered charge points in condo parking garages? Are the HOA rules strict on this? I think there's only one public Tesla supercharger on Oahu. Interesting question, Bernard. It'd be kind of fun to get some stats. I do believe I could be wrong on this, but I believe that Hawaii has the largest per capita of electric vehicles in the country, and for good reason because of the sunshine. A lot of there's a lot of the sort of the the Teslarati has solar panels on their homes and they charge their cars. Condo wise, HOAs. Scott, why don't you comment on that? What's the story with sort of HOAs and condos and how that all works?
Yeah, on the older condos, you kind of got to get into the condo docs, and sometimes we got to talk to people. So on the older buildings, sometimes they're not equipped for it or set up for it. How they have their electrical running from when they were built is not conducive for it, or they haven't upgraded to the point to where they can easily run it. But it's case by case basis on the older buildings. The newer buildings, they're all setting up for it. And typically what they're doing, they'll either have some charging stations or quite a bit of them in the buildings, or you can pay the cost to run it to your parking stall. And once it's there, then you have the electric charging station. But the newer buildings in the 2000s to present are significantly easier. And within the house rules and things, they usually have guidelines for what's allowed and how to go about it.
Wow, thanks, Scott, for shedding the light on that. That's going to be that would be quite a feature if you could run power to your stall. That would be amazing.
There's a ton already like that.
Really, really interesting. And along with that, there's I know one of the cars for sure. There's a new electric car from Hyundai, the GV60. I saw the promos on it. I haven't seen it mentioned, but regardless, there's features coming out now where cars can charge wirelessly. So you'll be able to put just a pad, and you just drive up to the pad in your stall and your car starts charging. So Dylan, you don't even have to Dylan's got a Tesla Model 3. You want there's nothing even to plug in, just drive up, which is going to be amazing. Heidi, what's the status with condos? What's your understanding of condos, Maui, electric cars, etc.?
Well, we're definitely seeing more and more electric vehicles out here on Maui. And I have seen some condominiums, even older condominiums, where individual owners have been allowed to set up a charging station for their parking stall. So I know that happens. I mean, as far as the cost and timing of doing that, that would be something to look into by case basis. I mean, there's also quite a few places publicly where you can go over to a resort area or beach parking and charge your car. And a lot of the newer homes are being set up for electric vehicles as well. So, I mean, I see that trend continuing.
That's a really good point. Bernard, one thing, although there may only be one Tesla supercharger station, there was a law that was made years ago. In fact, the guy that kind of drove it is a good friend of mine. But there's a law that states that any parking lot that has X amount of stalls. Now I don't know if this is Oahu or statewide, but certainly on Oahu, any parking lot that has for every X amount of stalls, there has to be an electric charging station. So they're not Tesla supercharger stations, but there's charging stations almost at every mall, anything that's got a big parking lot's got a couple of charging stations. And I don't know what the law is these days on the airport parking used to be free for electric vehicles. It was causing problems because all
still is. It's the best. That's the best part. Is there's a big row of electric vehicle stalls at our airport. So
and you park for free. So Dylan, what's so fill us in on the Big Island scene. You got a Tesla Model 3. Fill us in on the electric vehicle scene on the Big Island.
So on the Big Island, our charging infrastructure is not very good. There are a few public charging stations like Target, and there's some up by the resorts. But for the most part, most of the people that I know that have an electric vehicle charge it at home. That's what I did. I had a charging station installed at my house. It was like $500 for an electrician to come in and do it, and it's sufficient. I mean, you get 30 to 35 miles an hour when you plug into it. So you just plug it in when you come home, and you always have a full charge the next morning. And you really only charge 2 or 3 times a week maximum. If it depends on how much I'm driving. But my friends in Oahu that have Teslas and electric vehicles, there's enough. Even if their condo complex doesn't have a charging station or you can't put one in, it's just a lifestyle change where you go to a grocery store that does have a charging station, and you plug in while you grocery shop, or you go out to dinner, and they just say that it's they can make it work. It's just you have to build that into your schedule where you may have to spend a few hours outside of your home charging your car, depending on where you go. So it's totally doable. There's tons of electric vehicles out here, and for me, it's like I did it on a I got one for purely economical reasons because I didn't like paying for gas, and now I feel smarter than ever. I got it in 2020, and now I feel like a genius because people bitch about gas. I have no idea what the gas prices is. I could care less. So.
Isn't it great those wonderful genius moves where you get to look back on what you did, and it makes you feel like a genius today. It's like, yeah, I did the right thing with that one.
Yeah.
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 It's gonna be interesting to kind of see I'm curious, Dylan, how I think the big on more than any other place. Oahu, you could get away with not having a car. Maui, you can't get away with. Maui, you got to have a car. Big Island, for sure, you got to have a car. Big Island, I would say for sure well, you don't have a truck, Dylan. But, well, you may have like a.
I do, yeah.
car.
I have a truck also. Yeah, and that's that used to be my daily driver. The Hemi Dodge, which doesn't make any sense when it comes to gas mileage. So I do have to fill that up like once a month, or whatever. That's our beach car. We take rubbish to the rubbish dump. I mean, but yeah, right. But it doesn't hurt that bad when you're doing it once in a while.
Well, what I was going to say is, it can be interesting to kind of see how the electric transition is going to happen on the big one as electric trucks come on the market, right? Because now you've got the Ford F-150, which is kind of electric. The Tesla is going to have their electric. So it's going to be interesting.
They're saying Cybertruck by the end of the year should be coming out.
Cybertruck by the end of the year. Yeah. So that's going to be really interesting how the culture is going to be taken up. So Bernard, I hope that answered your question. That was